Former CNN anchor Chris Cuomo has resurfaced. They let him out of the basement, and now he's in Ukraine, actually. The Cuomo brother is the latest celebrity politico to touch down in the war-torn country and is posting videos to his Instagram account. There was this on Monday. So it's video of a Ukrainian village destroyed by bombings and Ukrainian troops taking cover. More that you can see here, and saying that America should be paying a lot more attention. Probably what he means is a lot more attention to him.
Yeah, I had blessedly kind of forgotten about him and all
I saw you take one
scandalous
of
activities. Yeah. And it's hard to perceive this. Again, I don't want to cast aspersions. Maybe he has a sincere commitment to doing the kind of rigorous reporting in Ukraine that he feels like is not being done. However, it's hard to read him popping up like this in this moment as anything other than an effort to rehabilitate himself after having been let go for violating journalistic standards over the coverage of his brother's own sexual assault and COVID scandal in New York.
Right. Let's all take a minute to recall what that was.
Right.
That Chris Cuomo, important anchor for CNN, was allowed to do wrongly this kind of banter with his brother, the former governor, the current at the time governor of New York, who is complicit in this, who's responsible for the nursing home deaths, and then had all these sexual misconduct accusations. Chris Cuomo also had some kinds of sexual misconduct accusations, and then there's some possibility that they couldn't do anything with him because then he had knowledge about Jeff Zucker, the president of CNN, who was in this relationship, someone else at CNN. It's such a mess. But anyway, Chris Cuomo was just a terrible, he was always a terrible journalist, terrible host. So he's gone now, and he's gone to Ukraine. He should hook up with Malcolm Nance, who is my other favorite celebrity resistance pundit type person who also went to Ukraine.
I don't know. You think they're just hoping that we all forget? Because in the Post article talking about this, they mentioned that he was maybe teasing a rebrand about an independent journalistic effort. I don't know that in a world where people are so frustrated with CNN as an institution, the mainstream media as an institution, people are looking for legitimately independent news outlets that have not let them down and demonstrated a kind of corruption that is endemic to the Cuomo family, apparently, that anyone's really looking for him to be the vanguard of a new independent media outlet.
Right. I never understood someone like him anyway, because he didn't have any talent. He didn't have any journalistic instincts. He didn't. That's not something I'm going to say about every even if you might disagree with Jake Tapper or Anderson Cooper or something, they're good.
He and Don Lemon didn't have a little charisma there that you appreciate.
It was so dumb. Yeah.
You didn't like a little boys club routine?
No.
You weren't charmed by it?
He was clueless about the First Amendment. I remember writing about very early in my career at Reason, so it was like 7 or 8 years ago, something he said that was just so ignorant on the subject of hate speech being criminalized or something. There's been a lot of things like that over the years where he's not just someone I disagree with, but someone who seems actively ignorant about many of the issues. But he doesn't have a TV show anymore, so he can't hit back at me. So maybe this is punching down to treat him like this. But or maybe he'll have some on the ground reporting show from Ukraine. He's getting into this a little bit late, though, because I think the American
attitudes have shifted. People aren't even
moved.
and we'll see with the gas prices and all of the things, we'll see how much, there's even the lib cohort is that invested in this conflict going forward. And look, I take your point.
Back to January 6th for the lib cohort.
Yeah. Well, I do think, frankly, that there's more of a there in terms of something for the Biden administration to get something out of us compared to the war in Ukraine, not to reduce all of these really real world conflicts down to those kind of base political instincts. I will say it'll be interesting to see what happens to him outside of the funding and support that comes from a CNN type organization. When he was at CNN, he had the resources for a giant Q-tip prop that made for one of his most memorable moments as he faux swabbed his brother's nose with a Q-tip the size of something from American Gladiators.
Cringe.
And what is he without that kind of technical support?
Yeah.
Prop support.
Probably it's even less appealing television, but I guess we'll have to find out.
Regrettably.
So he was remember he was trapped in the basement earlier because he had COVID, and
Correct.
he was one of the he was probably one of the on the early side of like public figures, known figures having COVID. You know, way before vaccines, still kind of scary time, and was quarantined in his basement, and I think continued to do the show.
Yeah, reported from his basement.
Yeah.
That was another kind of intrepid from the field study. I think maybe that's where he got his taste for it in the first place.
Oh, funny stuff.
I'm sorry. It's just so silly.
It's silly.
And it does look again. If he just happens to have a real burning desire in his heart to do a journalism in Ukraine because there's not enough people with their eyes on the prize. God bless him. But the optics of
He's
this,
not qualified even to do it.
He's not qualified for this to come before any kind of meaningful apology. Like, I understand if you want to do your little apology tour and, talk about the people you victimized and show some demonstration that you've understood what you've done wrong and then go to Ukraine, fine. But this just feels like a distraction. This just feels like a dodge, and maybe I'll be proved wrong.
Yeah. But it is funny. It's very funny.
It's funny.
All right, well, we enjoyed talking about that, and we'll have more discussion soon. Stay tuned.